Divine Spirit and gracious Creator, we are all here to open ourselves up unconditionally to your divine assistance and continued direction. As well as receiving your healing and guidance, we are fully open and ready to receive and notice signs and blessings. We are truly grateful and thank you. Amen. Please settle your minds and focus on your crown chakra. And when you are ready, open it for Spirit to supply you with its source of energy. As it enters your crown chakra, allow it to rebalance all your chakras, starting with the crown, moving on to the brow chakra, down to the throat chakra, and then on to the heart chakra. Carry on working its way down to the solar plexus chakra, and then down to the sacral chakra, and down to the root chakra. Allow the spirit energy source to visit all your minor chakras to maximize our potential in this circle. Let the energy settle in your body, and when you are ready, move your focus back to your heart and start linking with all other members of this circle unconditionally. Set your intentions on the task we agreed, please, to maximize the ability to make the links of spirit that we need to achieve. We've come together on the earth plane with the purpose of receiving answers to our questions from our spirit guides and advisors that are happy to link with us. I would like to start by introducing members of our circle here tonight. My name is Neil, and with me today is Sharon, Claire, Adrian, and Pam. I would like to welcome all members of the Spirit Circle and thank you for believing in us. As we try to lift your energy levels sufficiently to enable you to bridge and make contact through our mediums, we are focusing on offering you the opportunity to link through us. Please link directly through your choice of medium. And if you are happy to link through another medium at the same time as another soul from Spirit does, please do so. Where possible, we respectfully appreciate confirmation that we have achieved a successful link, through either sense of doing so, or we're even more grateful to hear the spoken word itself. As we try to lift our energy levels in our own circle, and with the help of our own guides and others in spirit, we do look forward to making the connection to the spirit circle. When we have achieved that, could you confirm when you are ready for questions to be put to you, please?
We are now going to join alongside you. You are each going to have two of us, one each side of you individually. You may feel some tingling, but you also may feel the sense that somebody is actually sitting at the side of you. But still keep imagining the pink light coming from your chest to join in the middle. You should now be seeing a pink ball, or half pink and half green, almost like the yin and yang symbol. Greeting, friends. I hope it's okay if I join you this evening.
Of course it is. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Have you blended enough already?
Yes, we are all blended.
Okay.
I hope you enjoy the healing that we have brought for you this evening.
I'm sure we will. We enjoy this very much. Thank you. What name do you go by? Or what do you want to go by, please?
Oh, this is a funny one. I have tried to use Adrian's language, but he's struggling to comprehend how to say it properly. But it is Aramis.
So if I say Aramis, is that correct?
Yes.
Good. Thank you, Aramis. Just to start, Aramis, have you had a life on the Earth plane before?
Yes. Many.
Okay. Could you pick one of your lives, please, that stands out more, or where you have something specific to say about it that would inspire us?
I'm trying to find one that will come to mind for relevance for you all.
Thank you.
Yes, I think this one would be. Yes. I had one of my lives I have had many, and I've even had one more recently. But yes, the times of the plague, when it went across the world, I was living in France at the time, in Brittany.
Okay, thank you.
And it was taking hold. And we was unsure what to do, as many around us was catching this. So I got my wife and my 2 children, and we managed to get a boat over to England.
How long ago would this be, Aramis? In Earth time? What century?
You would call this your Middle Ages.
Okay. Yeah.
You're making me think now, would this be around the 1300s? I may be wrong.
I think you're about right. Okay, according to my history training.
So I came over to England and we managed to settle.
So did that help you survive it, or did it eventually take your life?
No, we managed to move bit by bit, but there was still quite some hostility towards us.
Yeah.
I was obviously having our French accents. He was obviously living French. I was living as a Frenchman at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we managed to move along, and we worked our way up the country.
What
Keep
did you
to
do? What did you do to survive? You know?
We did our best to just try and find work on the land
Okay.
with the farming and helping hands. My wife was a good cook. That was appreciated as well, to bring a different taste to some of the people that we worked and lived with,
Okay.
which helped a lot. We ended up in Hereford at the time, was where we finally
Okay.
settled. It took quite a while to get there. There was none of these cars you have now. It's just
No, I'm
walking and
sure.
trying to catch a cart if you could. But the reason I bring this up is that the world at the minute is a difficult place, and sometimes you have to up sticks and move, even if you do not wish to.
Yeah.
But sometimes leaving behind something, start something new, triggers you to live your life in a different way. Some things are more difficult than others, but if you just put that little bit of effort in and trust,
Yeah.
trust in what's meant to be will come to you. If you let the divine help you, you will get to where you want to be. I managed to live till I was 63, which I thought was a good age back then. And to go
It's
through all that illness as well, it wiped an awful lot of people away. An awful lot.
That's a good example of a survival instinct.
We didn't get away completely unscathed. My son did get poorly.
Yeah.
It affected him, so he ended up with little movement in one of his arms and walked with a limp. But he managed to find work. There was many that couldn't write, so he was lucky that we could find him a job writing and transcribing for the churches.
So he was educated then, you know, in terms of life at that time.
Yes, he picked it up.
Okay.
I think that back in those days, France was certainly a little bit further ahead with
Yeah.
education than where England was. There was still quite a bit of the English wasn't how you speak it now. It was more
No.
Latin, so it was easy for. It wasn't like he had to learn another language to transcribe.
Okay. That's an interesting statement. I've never thought of it like that. I understand that.
It is funny because people very patriotic. But England really is made up of many cultures, many civilizations that have come together, that have travelled bit by bit. And yet it stands alone.
That's a really good point, because I think, yeah, I think a lot of the English forget their history, to be honest, in terms of that respect.
Yes, I think they do. There is no such thing really as a true English person.
Yeah.
You could say they're a mix of the best.
I'm sure there's the worst with us as well.
This is true.
You know, a lot of averages and a melting pot and all sorts of things. But we can all learn from that, can't we?
But it has come a long way from where it once was.
Okay.
Yes, I think what I have said to you about that life, I mean, there's many things that happened in that life, but my daughter went on.
Okay, what was the hardest thing for you to adjust to? You know, does anything stand out?
Moving from place to place, the bit between moving from one place that you'd settled to, but trying to run from the try and run from the plague at that time. But trying to move without, how can I say it? Move without looking like you're running from it, even though that's what we were doing, is to try and just move along gently and quietly, but moving from place to place, trying to live off the land between places, and also trying to take enough with you that wouldn't hold you down.
What you're really describing is having to live day to day.
Yes.
Conversely, what's the happiest or the most positive aspect of that life that you can remember?
Was the final decision to stay put and stop moving.
Okay.
It brought stability. You can only run for so long, but you also know as well when it is time to stop, where you are in the right place. But sometimes you just have to move a few times to get to where you need to be.
So really, you've followed your intuition, is that right?
Yes. Yes, a lot of you now are too much in your heads and not enough in your heart.
Okay.
Need to go back to basics.
It's very easy to say go back to basics, but how are enough of us going to actually achieve that? You know, what do we need to focus on?
Focus on the feeling. Think what you wish to do, and then imagine the feeling that it might bring you.
Okay.
This might take a while, Start with the small things that might challenge you on a day-to-day basis. Like if there's something you're not quite sure that you like to do, just look at the mindset on it. Treat it as a new day. Even if it's somebody that you don't really particularly like to talk to. Just think this is a new day. Do not try to think about the feeling of having to talk to that person. This is just an example. This could be anything. It could be a place where you have to go that you do not like going. But treat it differently and see how you feel with trying to keep a neutral feeling. Try to quiet the mind from the negative thought of certain situations. If you take the same route to work or the same route to shops, take a different route. See if it feels any different to you. Challenge yourself with small things each day, just to make a slight change and see how it feels when you get to the end of that little task you set yourself.
Is that another way of suggesting, one little step leads to another?
Yes, one step will always lead to another.
Yeah.
But maybe it might not lead to the outcome you wished for. This is why you try and keep neutral.
Is it fair to say that sometimes what you wish for might be not what you need?
Yes, sometimes you get what you need, but not what you want.
Yeah, that's what I meant in a way. You find the benefit when you're actually in that position.
Yes, occasionally try and take yourself out your comfort zone.
Yeah, okay.
It might not feel great on that day, but try it again. If it still feels like that, then that's not the way to go, or that's not the decision to take.
Okay. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
Just try to learn to start trusting your inner feeling.
Is there ever such a thing as taking a balanced approach to life? Or is that just wishful thinking?
I think a balance to life is something that grows.
Okay.
Takes hard work. There's a lot of outside influences. But if you can balance it, then I think you would have the most wonderful life.
Yeah.
But sometimes this might happen if you're very lucky. If you can learn it early to have a good ending towards the end of your life. If you learn to let go, as you have, Neil, you have learned to go with the flow.
Yeah, and as you said, it happens. It's happened with me probably midlife, later in life, and I'm grateful for it. So it's a way of managing all the negativity and forcing it lower down.
Try not to worry about the what ifs.
Yeah.
If you get there and it's not what you wished for, then that's just have to look at that outcome when you get there, but don't waste
Yeah.
your energy worrying about it before it gets there. It might be completely different.
Okay. From what you see, do we generally actually bring everything upon ourselves by sometimes not taking the right decision? Or is that what we have to go through to experience?
Sometimes people ask too much advice on others, so
Yeah.
you don't actually make the decisions yourself. Advice is great, but try to trust your inner self.
Yeah.
Usually if there's a decision to make, you know what the decision is, but then you get others involved and you lose yourself, which then you will lose your self-confidence because you will not take action.
Yeah.
The fear sets in. But if somebody else gives you the advice, you take it, you forget the fear. But how do you know they are right? People need to start to listen and trust themselves. Ask advice, yes. Weigh it up and take a punt on your own decision.
I'm in tune with that, but there's a lot of external forces, particularly in current life on people. So they have trouble, I suppose, believing themselves. And as you said, fear then kicks in. So
If you can try to teach this when children are young or the grandchildren are young,
yeah,
before the conditioning gets set in, try to teach them that to listen to themselves
yeah.
and those ones around them before taking advice from outside.
My own experience of that is I think children, when they're younger age, they do seem to have the ability to do exactly what you said, but as they grow up, and is another way you put it, the conditioning of life kicks in, they lose that ability.
Yes, their inner child becomes quiet.
Yeah, because I often say to some people, if you've got children around you, just ask them how they see that particular situation, and there's always a very natural perception of that situation.
Yes. And try to watch out for the old soul and the new body.
Yeah.
They are the best to learn from.
Why do we experience such a wide variation in emotional experiences? Because that can cause a jerk reaction.
This is why we come and join with humans, because of this. This is why it takes many lifetimes to even try to understand it. I don't think it is something that can ever be trying to think of the word to use.
Is that part of learning development, Aramis?
Yes.
Okay. That's the only scenario I can.
Yes, I
Have
don't
you
think
been able to-
anybody or even some souls that live many lives will never harness the experience of the full emotions in a
Yeah.
lifetime. To get that balance that you were saying,
Yeah.
it's going to be very difficult. You will try as a male, you will try as a female. You try with positivity, you try with negativity. You try when you have a fruitful life, and you try when you have struggles and struggle to find food. But the lesson is to try to go with it and do not fight it. As long as you can learn from the mistakes, you will move forward.
Yeah.
You can try the same thing twice, but do not try it 3 times.
Why are so many human lives confrontational? Because that's, it seems to be endemic at the moment. And how do you suggest we change that?
I see it as a lot of it is to do with materialistic things.
Okay.
Trying to compare yourself with what your neighbors have or your other family members. Just remember you're living that life, your life. They're living theirs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will all blossom differently. Some might be very clever, but have no common sense. Vice versa. Some may peak early. Others may bloom later in life. But there will always be a stage in your life that you'll be happy. And if you lose it, try to ask yourself, what made me happy at that time? Try to find that happiness again. Do not go back to the past, only to try to help. Do not relive it.
I mean, many people go back to the past too much just to, maybe I'm going to say the wrong thing here, but wallow in their negativity. They're not going back to help them move forward. And that in itself is stopping them from living. That's my experience.
If you go back into the past to find that you maybe had a happy time, that happy time came to an end for a reason.
Yeah.
But if you can look at it, what made you happy at that time? Maybe it was a time you was on your own. Maybe it was a time that you was traveling. Maybe it was a time your family was young and together, and now you are older, the family has grown up and it is not the same. you can find what made you happy at that time, maybe you can help again in times that are not so happy.
Yeah. Is it fair to say that have a happy time, you've got to have a bad one to understand what happy is? Do you understand where I'm coming from?
To help you appreciate and understand it, yes, but
Yeah,
nobody likes a bad time of it.
that's what I mean. That's why when you have bad times, you just deal with it and try and move out of it as soon as you can.
Sometimes you have a bad time after a happy time, just to understand what you had,
Yeah.
to appreciate
Okay.
what you had.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to go through troubles first, but then when the happiness comes, you can appreciate it better.
And maybe you wouldn't have come to that happy state without those things happening. So
Yes.
sort of like a catch. I call catch 22. So, okay.
Significant number, Neil.
I'll have to look that one up. I've lost touch with that one. Okay. What does 22 mean then?
You have a look.
I can find that out. I admit that. Okay.
It will have its own meaning to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've learned that with other numbers as well. Okay. Given the conditions that humans are attempting to work their way through at the moment on the Earth plane, are spirit really surprised why so many souls here are experiencing so much negativity in their life? Or are we exaggerating it?
This is something that we are trying to work on, because yes, it has become far too negative. It is not an easy thing.
No.
And some things have to run a cycle. Unfortunately, these last few years and the years you're living in now are in one of those cycles.
Yeah, it would look like that, yeah.
But with optimism and hope, I'm sure it will be. If people work together, come together, this could be easily sorted out.
Yeah.
There's too much ego involved at the moment. People are becoming in powerful positions, but are only thinking about themselves and not of others.
Is experiencing the feeling of jealousy ever good for our soul's development? I can't see it, but maybe there's a hidden meaning that I haven't worked out.
No, I think you have got that one nailed down.
Okay.
There might be some lesson somewhere, but it is not a very good one.
Because sometimes that causes a lot of negativity in people's lives.
It makes a lot of divide.
Yeah, it does. But is expecting less our only real way forward? Is it that simple? I'm not totally convinced of that, but
Expectation in itself can cause problems.
yeah,
If you have your own expectations on yourself, then that's fine. That helps you move along. It's when you expect others to behave and act in a way that you find
yeah,
respectful, etc. But they have their expectations on how they experience other things.
yeah. I know recently in one of these conversations with one of the other spirits that something that I've been profoundly affected on is the word expectation. I've never viewed it in the way that Spirit Wars are suggesting. It's a form of greed.
Yes, you could look at it like that.
And when you do focus on
That you
that,
expect something.
it explains a lot, particularly when you expect it from other people or other things, or when you take it in that context, it's the lesson comes home a little bit. It's well, why do you expect it? You shouldn't need to expect it.
No.
So it's opened my eyes. It's opened my eyes just hearing that was put to me in an answer to one of the previous questions. Okay. As humans, will we ever lose what I call our animalistic traits? You know, at the moment, in a lot of cases, it's dog eat dog, selfish, whether it's human physical pleasures or materials, to be honest. Are we ever going to get on top of that?
I think you are right there, Neil. The original humans, there's some traits that do not exist at all,
Yeah,
that have long gone. The basic line is still in there, but because of how you live your lives now, even if you take a century off where you are now to where a century ago, kids still were not going to school, people were not living the lives you are living. But you see now that some of these companies that people work for are increasing daily hours, being greed, putting their employees into difficult positions. With the world's economies the way they are taking advantage. So as much as you've moved on and have a more logical life, basic human kindness is going out of the window as well. There is an imbalance.
I mean, you've touched on it slightly in terms of what you just said, but in terms of our development, what does Spirit wish for in terms of changes in current human behavior? What really is the most important aspect that they are concerned about?
To show love and compassion towards others, to get along,
Yeah.
to to learn from each other. To take people for who they are. It takes all sorts to make the world go round.
Yeah.
In spirit, we all have our individual identities. We can change the energies to move along our journeys how we wish, within reason, I must say. But when we take a physical life, it is to learn under the constraints that you have that physical body for a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
Rather than in spirit, there isn't time per se. You could go along doing all sorts in spirit. But when you live a life, it is to try and learn to live in the best way you can in that time you have.
But what's the main advantage of spirit when you chose to have a life against another spirit that's chosen not to take a human life? What stands out?
There are a lot of advantages, or not advantages, but experiences that
Yeah.
you can try and share when you take them back. But there is you can't, it is to do with to feel the physical feel.
How do you project that feeling, Aramis, when you go back and you explain a certain situation to particularly spirits that haven't had that experience? How do you get that over?
To try and show it in an emotion, because
Okay.
emotion isn't a physical. Emotion is within the brain.
Yeah.
So obviously, it is like spirit. It is energy.
Yeah.
But we can change the energy in a way to show it or help them feel it. But it is just not the same with the connection you have with the body.
When you share that energy, we'll call it that at the moment, with other spirits back home in spirit, does that ever convince some of them who haven't had a life to have one? Just from that feeling?
Yes, it can, but also it can have the effect of others as well, the opposite effect.
Yeah.
It all depends on that individual's spirit's journey, from whether some say they have never had a human life, but they will have had a physical life somewhere along their early path.
Yeah.
There are none in spirit that haven't taken some form of physical life.
Okay. So is that a possible reason of why some spirits who choose to move or take lives in an animal form and then don't choose to take a human form? Is that because they're more in tune with the The animal persona?
Yes, that could be.
Okay. Because I always used to think, you take life, for want of putting it another way, at a lower level, and you move up through the organisms and the animals and humans, and then even past human form to, let's just say, more higher intelligence forms of life. So,
Yes, that is the path that you can take.
yeah.
But as many will stop at a certain point, this is where you also get where they'll say where spirits of, say for instance, dogs or cats
Yeah.
still perceive. It is just a spirit that has decided to
Yeah.
finish at that point.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
they like, that's what they enjoyed. It doesn't stop them moving further along in a different way. You might call it a side movement, but
Okay. So do animal spirits, say like a dog or a cat, when they're backing spirit, actually share their energy directly with every other spirit?
yes, we still link together.
Yeah. When animal spirits join the circle, we've had 1 or 2 circles where we've been told animals have joined the circle. Is their main function to help lift the energy at that point, or doing more than that?
You could call it upliftment. You could call
Okay.
it calming.
Yeah.
I would say just to blend, to help
Yeah.
just balance.
Yeah, no, I get that. I understand that's how I've always taken it. But where I'm at the moment, I have no idea why I've taken it as that, because of the limits of the human vessel that I'm living in at the moment. Okay. Something I haven't asked you, Aaron, is in spirit, what's your role? Are you one of our guides or are you a visitor here tonight?
I am a guide of the group.
Of our group, of the group. Yeah, okay.
Yes. I am one of your teachers.
Yeah.
When you come back and you come into your family groups and you go off, you say you would go up to a guide that teaches certain things.
Yeah.
That is what I do. I am a guide predominantly, but I'm also a little bit more experienced in certain things that have helped you move along, and I come every week. Come and see what you could teach me as well.
That's hard for us to, understand, but
It is amazing what we learn from your strengths, your passions, the way you link with each other. As much as we've seen it in the past, it is always nice to come and see and feel something that you've helped. Like when you help a child and you see them
yeah.
and you doing exactly as you showed them, and they keep doing that. But also they will move it to the next level. And it is that where you sometimes will help you think maybe there's another way I could
Yeah.
show them. This is why we come, not only because of our love and that we are all one, but it is also that we learn as much from you as you do from us.
When we discussed it, Aramas, we all know we are learning a great deal, and that's why we come. But again, we're all connected with one another, and I suppose we've never analysed it. We've just accepted the connection. We've never known really why. We don't get lost in that. We just move forward.
It is wonderful. It really is.
Yeah, we feel the same in our own way. You know, obviously different people have different ways of showing it, but it's quite amazing. Okay. On the earth plane, I would suggest in a human vessel, I suppose for survival, we have to find a way of paying our own way here on the earth plane. Is it the same in spirit, albeit, you know, you don't have money, but does every spirit have to pull their weight?
Yes. But all it is is to just encourage one another, to help one another.
Yeah.
There are some that, even in spirit, may be a little bit more grumpy than others.
Yeah.
But all in all, if everybody was the same, or every spirit was the same,
Yeah.
things would be boring. This is why we take the physical lives as well. Adds character. Living our life is like your book of questions. You may not get the answer, but it may bring another question.
Yeah. As you know, many of your answers do with me. Some of the answers are set to make me go and think about something, and I end up with another question. So every answer brings a question.
Or every answer brings a new path.
Never ending. There you go. But I will say a challenge, a never ending challenge. So it's good, all good.
While you still find it enjoyable, that is the most important thing.
I don't think we'd be doing it, Aramas, if we didn't enjoy it, because we all do whatever we're doing, we enjoy. So it's great. It's a great feeling. Great feeling.
We see it from this side as well.
Good, good. You probably see more than I do, but I'm just telling you what I've been told and what I sense, depending on how close I am with people. So it's great. When souls obviously finish their life in the vessel and return to spirit, why do some of them who've had a life as in the human vessel on earth, and let's just say had unacceptable behavior, why does it take some of them so long to accept that what they did was wrong, you know, and the pain that they caused others was wrong? In spirit, I mean. Obviously, when they have their life reviewed, presumably they're going to see and feel all the high points of their emotional experiences and all the low points for them and for others that they might have abused, for instance, maybe the wrong word, but do they always show remorse, or does it take some time for them to realize where they
It is
went
all of
off the
those things,
rails.
but the
Yeah.
way to describe it is those So you know, like a stain or those permanent markers you have,
Yeah.
it takes nothing to put it on your skin, but trying to get it off is something else. Do you understand?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
But then that builds up. So before you can get rid of that initial stain, it may fade, but then another comes and another. And it becomes, so it becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
And as much as the soul underneath that very first stain is still there,
Yeah.
it has absorbed all the bad things, all the negative things that has happened in that life. And it all depends on how that first experience happened.
Yeah.
And whether something came along very soon after, so that soul didn't have time to say, clean it off.
Yeah.
It becomes overwhelmed with the other energies.
Can they struggle for a time when they're in spirit, trying to adjust and recognize any
Yes.
wrongdoing?
There's a lot of younger spirits, so they may not have had the experience that they may have should have before they took a life.
Yeah, okay.
So they're almost like they hadn't got that shield of protection initially. So that first experience they had would have cut quite deep, maybe the saying. Never got a chance to heal fully before the next experience came along. Almost like it takes over them. So when that life ends, they've got to shed almost each experience from the top right down to that first experience. Have to remove it like layer by layer.
Okay.
Work backwards. Like peeling a layer off at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just about to say peeling an onion. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'd read something somewhere that is there a time limit for a spirit? Are they given before they move on to say their next life that they have to try and get a message through a medium to someone left on the earth plane? We do, as a medium, I think some of us have received passed on messages where someone's come through to apologize for what they did. Is there a time limit on that?
No, there is no time limited. There is no time limit for them. It all depends on what's happened in that last life and also whether they have lived lives before, because it does take quite a bit of adjustment and energy to come back as well.
Yeah,
and you sometimes have to, as much as you want to apologize, that person that is left behind might not need or want to hear that straight away, even though you've realized what you may have done.
Even though someone here on the earth plane might want to hear from a loved one in spirit. If their energy level is not correct, does that make it too difficult for that loved one to come through? I may not have put that the right way, but I think you'll understand what I'm asking.
No, I understand, yes. If somebody really wants us that have passed to come back,
Yeah.
their energy is just as high. Even if they are, you might see them as depressed or very, very down and upset. As much as they are like that, the urge lifts them to connect with us. But sometimes it's like a child still clinging to the apron strings.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes they need to be left to stand on their own 2 feet before we come back.
Yeah, so that's a conscious decision of spirit then to say they've got to deal with this. I'll come back when they're in a position where they're not just being wrong words. I'm not going to make it easy for them.
But sometimes it's just, again, it's the timing.
Yeah.
You could go back to give the message that they're looking for, but it might not help them in that time that they want it.
Yeah,
when they need
that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
It is when they need it. They feel they need it straight away because that you would have passed. But it is their wanting, not actually their needing. Their need in themselves turns to a want. I know this sounds very harsh, but
it's a bit like tough love to me, to be honest. That if spirit, clearly understand the situation that human soul is in, hopefully you'll know that that's the right thing to do, is not come through. Okay.
there is another in your group that has seen this, and she has come out and she's fighting fit now.
Yeah.
She still has her wobbles, but if she got what she wanted, it might not have helped her where she is now.
Yeah, okay. I feel I know who you're talking about, and I understand that fully.
I think that question was meant for that answer and for you to pass that on to her, maybe, yes.
Well, yeah, there was method in my madness. Okay, thank you for that, because it'll be picked up on the recording, so that's good.
I mean, I must apologize. I said the group, but it is actually the family.
Big family then, big family. It's very reassuring, so thank you. Okay. Could you tell me what an ascendant master is, please, from a spirit point of view?
Now, as much as I've said to you, I have lived many lives.
Yeah.
And some people would say people like Buddha, Jesus, and others.
Yeah. Yeah.
our ascended masters. Yes, they can be, because of the role that they have played and laid down on the earth. But there are others that are from early times. How can I put it? They are almost like, they're like another sect, like guardian angels or archangels.
Yeah. I mean, that was going to be one of my next question. Is becoming an angel a form of development, becoming an ascendant master? You know, like the way I put it is having so much experience of lives, whatever they are.
Yes, lives and mastering the energies to create
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I didn't just mean a human. I didn't mean that.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh no, I mean as well to create planets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Life on planets.
Do some spirits choose to take on the responsibility when they're back home in spirit for focusing on specific things like you've just described, creating new planets, creating new life?
Yes,
managing,
it's almost like,
managing human vessels' lives, working with yourselves.
it is almost like life as a human. You have your
Yeah.
likes and your dislikes.
Yeah.
And certain experiences will take you on that path.
Yeah.
But you still have like your free will anyway.
Yeah.
But once you tend to jump on that path, you will stay on it.
Yeah.
Because it is what draws you. It will suck you in. The more you challenge yourself with it and you jump past it, you just keep going further and further on.
So in general, in spirit, you don't just go and just put your feet up and mess around. You're actually focused on something worthwhile.
Yes, but you can go and put your feet up if you had them. But yes, you can just.
Yeah, that's one of your double answers. Okay, I've been told that before.
But yes, you can take, let's say, time for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is not all about work. It is just what is.
I mean, even on the earth plane, sometimes the work you do, if you enjoy it, is not work, if you know what I mean.
No, the best job is not a job. It is a hobby, a love. If you can find that, which makes your life rich, but it might not even be rich with money, but it makes your life rich, that you enjoy what you do every day.
I mean, that's right. That's right. I mean, the way we're living our lives at the minute, we're so dependent on money in one form or another that it removes some of that choice for some people. So
I would say a lot of people at the moment, they are just chasing. They're not picking jobs that they actually want to do. They're just going for jobs that give them the most amount of money.
I can see that, but I can also see the situation. Sometimes they have to do it to survive if they've got, let's say, family responsibilities. But I agree with you. Sometimes when it turns into greed, that's a different issue. Okay. Now, obviously, we know about, or a few of us know about things to do with archangels. But are there angels that actually say operate as an archangel, like they would help, if you like, the boss? So they'll take on that role. Or when we're talking to an archangel, is it always the original? Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yes, I see what you're meaning.
There's no disrespect intended, Aramis, when I say that. So
No, there's been a lot of writings and people saying about these things. You might say, you have got the Archangel Michael with you. And then Pam might say, he's with her. And somebody else might say, he's with them. But he is like God, in the sense that he can be in many places at the same time.
Yeah.
They have that ability. Imagine you're standing in your garden looking at an ant's nest.
Okay.
And you're watching all those little ants. But how big are you? Can you imagine just sending a tiny little bit of energy to each one? Would be very easy.
Okay.
That is how they do it.
Okay. All right.
It is like a perspective thing. You stand and look at the moon, put your thumb up or some measuring item, a pencil, to see how big it is. It is very small. But if you used to stand, if we get to the moon, you wouldn't be able to see the end of it.
Yeah. Okay, good point. All right. Yep.
So because
can spirits evolve in?
Can spirits what? Sorry.
Yeah, can spirits evolve into an angel? You know, dependent on their experience, or are they totally a distinct version of a spirit? We've had mixed statements on that in the past.
I think if it has been written, then if that's what you are going to be, or you are, that is what it is.
Okay.
I do not personally know more than that. I do know that we do have the archangels, as you say, that come in with us on these evenings. And as we talk to them as equals. As much as they are higher, we sit and we just talk. They tell us things. They tell me now that, yes, they've done lots of things and they've lived many different types of lives.
Yeah.
But it is something they just knew that they would end up doing or being.
Okay. Yeah.
It is something that just happened rather than a goal that was set for them. Or they set themselves. They didn't set themselves this.
Yeah. Okay.
It just happened that that's what they became. But they're not sitting here with their wings as you see them on there.
No, we had that comment made recently, you know, that I think we're only showing them with wings because sometimes that would be necessary with the recipient of the message or the image. It would mean something to that individual. And it would help in a way with certain people. It helps deliver the message that they're destined to receive. Okay. Do spirit or even angels ever adopt a human form to transit back onto the earth plane when they feel they need to, let's just say, assist either a situation or an individual here? You know, can they teleport themselves through the portals? Or is that science fiction creation on my part?
There is truth to what you say.
Okay.
There was a TV program.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use Adrian's. Yes, Highway to Heaven.
Yeah.
Yes. When it is necessary, they will come for the purpose. But also, some earth, you have what we call earth angels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these humans are born and they are meant to be an earth angel.
Yeah. I know two of those particularly, and I've always ended up calling them that in my own case.
There are many of them. They are
Yeah.
more than people think.
Yeah.
If you know you've met one, you are very privileged. And if you've met two, Neil, yes.
I
you are
just
very
know
lucky.
the support. I just know the support they gave me, Aramas, at the time. With, you know, quite willingly. That's how I will always consider them. So, but yes, it started off as, you know, they're my earth angels. So there you go.
They live off
Who
love.
calls the shot? Yeah. Who calls the shots in spirit? And I'm not referring to alcohol.
It is like a school or a big family.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can say to you.
Okay.
There is always something at the top. But it is discussed with many on how things progress.
Okay. So is progression decided on a consensus of opinions?
Yes,
Okay.
and don't ask me how that started in the beginning because I have no idea.
No, we'll just deal with here and now. That's fine. Life is complicated enough. It's okay. Does energy rule, Aramis, or is it controlled by itself, or is our creator just pure energy?
This is one of my goals, to figure out how energy started, how the creator, to find out. I have not got that far yet.
Oh dear.
It
Thought
is
you'd
one of
have the
those
solution.
infinite, I think it is one of those infinite answers that we will never get to the bottom of.
Yeah, not sure.
Even though you can progress to create, to actually find out the answer, the beginning, I do not know.
As you move forward, do you often end up back at the beginning?
Only the beginning
that
of the
how-
next path.
Okay, but is that how infinity works? You know, as you move forward, you end up back where you started, and it's a cycle.
You can do, but it's not Groundhog Day, as you would say.
Okay. I like that one. Okay. You may not be able to answer what I'm going to ask next, but I'll ask it anyway. What is the next major turning point on the Earth plane that we should look out for? Or be ready for, or whatever.
I'm being shown. All I can say is, as long as there is love, compassion, taught and shown,
Okay.
things will be as they should.
Have we ever come close to spirit wiping us out and starting again?
I wouldn't say spirit wiping out, but there have been many civilizations. There are many layers to planet Earth. And things come and go. But you need to look after one another. Because as you are, you are the last seedlings.
Sorry, could you say that again with the last one?
Seedlings.
All right, okay, yeah. Oh. But plants produce more seeds. Does that suggest we are not going to produce more seeds?
In your current form,
Okay. No, thank you for your honesty. I appreciate that. When
I'd
you're
like to
not
get told
guiding
off for
it,
that one.
yeah, you might do, but I'm conscious of that, so we'll move on. Um, yeah. When you have a break from your guiding and your teaching, Aramas, what do you like doing? What do you like doing for yourself in spirit?
I am quite attached to the earth, as I've had many lives there.
Yeah.
But I will take time out elsewhere. You might call it meditation or a holiday.
Okay.
I will go and find somewhere new or somewhere I've been before and enjoyed, and I will spend time in that place. I will usually take some of my family close, like friends,
Yeah.
almost like a retreat sometimes,
Yeah.
and we will do
Okay.
that.
Does that suggest that you believe a change of scene, even for us in the human vessels, can work wonders? You know, looking at nature, looking how other people live, even in holiday form.
Yes, especially if you are on on the path that can be sometimes challenging.
Yeah. Okay.
My energy is getting quite low now, and
Okay.
I
Well,
thank
you've been here a long time, Aramis, so thank you for that. It's been great talking to you. But before you go, I was made aware that one of the spirits called Jonathan is attached to Claire in our group. He didn't want to speak, I've been told. Just wanted to watch. Can you thank him for us, please? Because I'm sure you're in contact with him.
you thanked him yourself with your own words.
Okay, because I am making other people aware that he was there now, and he mentioned to Claire that he was in the Neapolitan War in 1815, had a wife called Frances and two girls, and he was killed in action. But I understand it could have been Claire, but I don't think he particularly wanted to talk. He just wanted to observe today. So thank you.
He came in as close as, let's say, she wanted,
Yeah,
but to
that's why I
show
said that.
evidence that it's not her, but it is
Yeah.
spirit. It is God. He is there.
I mean, I'm sure you know how Claire communicates with me, and she doesn't particularly want to speak or say it herself. So, but I'm just making others aware that that's another way of showing there's other people with us.
Step by step, it's baby steps for her,
Yeah.
and it's to trust. And this is what we're here to do. As much as
Yeah.
we help you, you help us. And this is what we are so grateful for with this group.
And long may that continue for us as well.
It will always continue.
Good.
Thank you all.
Take our love back to spirit with you.
Our
And remember
advice
me
for
to
you all this week
remember me to ethos, okay?
is self-love. Look after yourselves. And remember to start every day with a fresh, clean slate. I will send your love and love to you all. And don't forget, you can always ask for healing for yourself, not just for others. Do not forget this. We can give it, but give it stronger when you ask for it.
Thank you for that reminder.
I hope to join again with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for all your support. Time for us now to finish today's question and answer session. We would like to thank Spirit for being here to guide us and working directly with us. That includes our personal guides, all the additional advisors that have joined us here today to give us the benefit of their wisdom. Thank you for your continued support, which we do all fully appreciate and value. And we look forward to linking up again with you next time. Before we close the link, we hope you don't mind us spending a few minutes of our time exploring our personal direct links with Spirit. 2 to 3 minutes until I call you all back into the room, everyone. Time now to refocus on your crown chakra, please. And as and when you have, close it down to break your link with Spirit. Move any residual energy you don't need down from your crown chakra to your brow chakra, onto your throat chakra, and then onto your heart chakra. Take it further down to your solar plexus chakra and onto your sacral chakra, and then to your root chakra. Allow this surplus energy to move down through your legs and body to your feet. And ground yourself on Mother Earth, please. When you're sufficiently grounded and in your own time, gently and slowly bring your attention back into the room. Before I stop the recording, everybody, as some of you know, Pam is the eyes of the circle. So I'm just going to ask Pam if she has anything to report following, what she's been involved with during this circle. Over to you, Pam, if you've anything, please.
Thank you, Neil. Today it's all about the planet Earth and about what's around us. I was taken as though I was an insect through all the petals, through a lot of flowers. They were white flowers, and so it was almost like an insect view. They took me to some water as well, and they want us to appreciate nature and our surroundings a lot more. They showed me some cliffs and that were jutting out into the sea, and they also some mountains as well, and they just want us to have a look and to be kind to everything around us. They say spirit are all around us, and I could feel them around us before actually anybody spoke, and they said please just talk to them, and then listen for the reply. Okay, they want everybody to look at the world through the eyes of a child, because a child will see our world completely different to how we see it as adults. And they say that there is a lot of beauty on Earth, and that there's beauty wherever we are. There's beauty in other planets, but particularly on Earth, and we need to appreciate it a lot more. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pam. And on that note, we'll say on behalf of the circle, we'll leave you now and say thank you for watching. Bye for now.